Hey guys, it's Dan, your host, Judean Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Last of Us. This one's going to be doing another video for the TV show coming out on HBO in January 2023. We are going to discuss a major event from The Last of Us 2, the video game, and we're going to talk about whether or not we think a certain event from The Last of Us Part 2 will be adapted to the TV show. And I say certain event for a very good reason, so maybe if you have not played The Last of Us Part 2, maybe don't watch this video. Anyway, of course, this one's going to be doing another video for today. This one's going to be doing a video for The Last of Us. We are going to discuss the certain event that happens in The Last of Us 2 that we all know, I'm sure we all know if you've played the game, what I am talking about, and whether or not we think that they are going to adapt this in the TV show on the HBO series, the television show for The Last of Us. So, once again, if you have not played The Last of Us 2, definitely do not watch this video because in a few seconds here, we're going to actually talk about what goes down in the game, and, well, I'll give people a few seconds to get out of here before we get into it. Okay, so if you're still here, you know what happens, obviously. Do we think that they are going to kill Joel in the same way, or even just kill him in general, like they did in Part 2 of the game version, The Last of Us? So, this is one that I wanted to do, mainly because I want to hear from you guys what your opinions are about this, and do you think that the TV show really will go in that same kind of direction? Because one of the things that I've noticed about The Last of Us, and obviously I've said this many times, is that this is a game that is very divided. Some people like The Last of Us 2, some people hate it, you know? And if you guys have watched my reviews for it, and if you watched my review a couple years ago when I went through this game, you'll know that The Last of Us 2, at least in my opinion, is a very poorly told story. I think there are a lot of really bad decisions that were made and a lot of really bad story ideas kind of in there. And it's a shame because I actually really think that The Last of Us 1, and I've said this before, The Last of Us 1 is probably my all-time favorite video game story ever created. It's a sensational story, and it's an absolutely incredible story all the way through, and I just don't feel like Part 2 really lived up to that. I feel like Part 2 really disappointed me and a lot of other, things that I just didn't really enjoy, Of course, you can watch my review to get more details about it. I won't go through all of them here, but the biggest pet peeve I have with The Last of Us 2 is in the fashion that they did Joel's death, because I actually agree when a lot of people say that you could have killed Joel in The Last of Us Part 2. You could have made it work. You could have definitely had it happen. I don't disagree with that. I think that if you would have gone further into the game and you would have done something very monumental, you could have done a very good death for Joel. And I think that Joel could have died in Part 2. So before anybody says, like, oh, well, you just don't like that Joel died, you're not appreciating the good story that's told. No, it's because they kill him in less than 2 hours into the freaking game. Like, you know what I mean? It's a really bad idea. And then they force feed this redemption arc for this character that just murdered him for the whole rest of the game, And I don't care what anybody says, I would find it ridiculous, and I still find it ridiculous, and I think Joel, even, in death, I think would find it ridiculous that Abby is spared by Ellie. I don't think Joel would be proud of Ellie for sparing Abby, I really don't. So, I don't know. It's just a really poorly told game. It's a really badly told story. But with all that aside, do we think that the TV show is going to do that? Do we think that the TV show is going to actually go there and kill off Joel? Because obviously in the TV show, we do know, and I have heard a lot of things about the TV show being very close to the game, but that's for the first one, right? Are they going to do that for the second one? Are they going to have it be just as close? Because The Last of Us Part 2, when it came out, and this is another thing that I really noticed a lot with this thing, is that when The Last of Us Part 2 released, I noticed a lot of people hated it. Like, when Last of Us Part 2 came out, everyone hated it. Everyone couldn't stand it. No one liked it whatsoever. And then give it, now, 2 years in the future, it's been the entire opposite of that. It's been the total opposite of that in general. Now everybody loves it. Everybody loves the story. They think it's incredible, which, like I said, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I personally think it's one of the worst and most insulting games I've ever played. So will the TV show do that? Will the show do something like that? It's hard to tell because there was a lot of fan backlash when they did it a few years ago. But for some reason nowadays, somehow the fan base has turned around and now they want like that to happen. They enjoy The Last of Us Part 2. They think it's a brilliant story and they think it's incredible. So I'm just going to share my opinion. I think if the TV show does this and they introduce Abby and they do this whole thing from Part 2 and they adapt it verbatim from the game to the TV show, I'm going to have a very hard time enjoying the show after that. I really am, because I am very confident in the story of Season 1 of The Last of Us. I really am. I think it looks fantastic. I think the visuals look amazing. I think everything really looks perfect, to be honest. But once we get into the story of The Last of Us Part 2, is it going to be that good if they kill Joel in the manner that they did in the game? And I don't think so. I think it's going to be just as bad in the TV show if they do it, you know? Like I said, you can kill Joel. You can still kill that character off. Just don't do it in the way that they did it in this game. Because I found it to be a very insulting beginning to a game, especially when you're waiting for the game for so long, and you turn it on, and literally less than 2 hours, your lead is dead, and then they force feed this redemption arc for the character that killed him for the entire game. It doesn't work. It's not a good game. It's not a good story. And I think for a TV show as well, too, and like what, Abby would like lead a couple episodes after that? No, there is no way in hell that that would work. So, I think it's an awful idea. I think it's a terrible direction for the show to take, and I'm practically begging them not to do it, because I think it would be a horrible idea. So that is just my opinions. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to disagree, because The Last of Us Part 2 is a very beloved game. Somehow it turned into that. I don't know how it managed to get that way, because back in the day, everybody hated it. Now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden, if you talk trash about The Last of Us Part 2, everybody hates on you, right? So I don't know. I'm going to hear some comments from you guys. Please remain respectful, I ask you kindly. And that is it for this video, guys. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure, of course, to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos for The Last of Us. Make sure, of course, to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official to get more videos on The Last of Us. And I'll see you guys really soon for more videos on The Last of Us show. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.